Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and address a pretty painful reality for a lot of solo operators. Picture this. You're looking at your business bank account right now and you're well into the red. You're operating at a sheer deficit. The pressure is constantly on, the clock's ticking, and you're probably working, 100-hour weeks just to keep your head above water? And your margins? Totally non-existent. It's an incredibly stressful place to be. But today we're going to look at a highly structured way out of that exact trap. So to escape that endless grind, we need to immediately dismantle this mainstream belief that AI is just, a casual conversational chatbot or some friendly brainstorming buddy. So many people approach AI like it's an enthusiastic but totally inexperienced intern. But honestly, just having access to a neural network doesn't automatically equal leverage. If we actually want to scale our output and our revenue, we have to fundamentally rethink how we talk to machines.
And for a perfect example of this, let's look at Andy Hand's AI NOVITAS playbook, which visualizes exactly how to pull this off. He used this to scale a business from $20,000 to nearly $700,000 in monthly sales. Yep, you heard that right. And the crazy part, he didn't do it by hiring some massive team or grinding out endless extra hours. He did it by leveraging this incredible ecosystem of over 10,000 professionally crafted, rigorously organized prompts to just automate all the heavy lifting.
Here's the core truth. To build a business making tens of thousands a month, you've absolutely got to stop hoping for usable outputs and start treating language as rigid code. If you're just sitting at your desk typing out conversational requests and basically crossing your fingers that the AI gives you something usable back, well, you're just guessing. And guessing wastes your time, which is your ultimate bottleneck. We have to stop asking the machine for a favor and start treating it exactly like a compiler executing your specific code.
A great way to think about it is comparing a blurry flashlight to a laser scalpel. A conversational prompt might illuminate a general area, sure, but the edges are super blurry. When you leave gaps in your instructions, the AI just mathematically fills them in with the highest probability noise. And that is exactly how you end up with those infamous AI hallucinations, like, a hand with 7 fingers. But when you use exact command line syntax, you act like a laser scalpel. You set absolute bounds and eliminate those hallucinations entirely.
Section 1. The Code of Creativity. Let's look at the micro-mechanics of prompting. To build a true engine of growth here, we actually need to abandon conversational English altogether and look at the exact underlying structure that high-level prompt generators demand. The absolute crucial point is this strict 7-part framework. It forces you to lock down every single variable. You systematically define your keyword, an in-depth subject depiction, the environment, and the mood. Then you set the artistic format, followed by an execution style detailing things like camera and lighting, and finally, the technical parameters. By dictating literally every element, you give the machine zero room to mathematically guess the blanks.
And when you get to those technical parameters, the rules of language just change completely. You're no longer talking to a natural language parser. To the AI, a comma simply acts as a soft break for token weighting, just separating visual concepts. But a double hyphen? Now that talks directly to the render engine's back end. It defines an absolute system command, dictating exact aspect ratios, chaos levels, or very specific seed numbers. Here's another incredible trick for manipulating the underlying math: wrapping a term in triple parentheses. Say you need a neon sign in your image, and it absolutely has to be the main focal point. By wrapping that specific keyword in 3 open and 3 closed brackets, you're literally hacking the math. You force the AI's attention mechanism to prioritize that specific token's weight, completely dominating the diffusion process.
But let's be real. Figuring out camera angles, token weighting, and exact bracket placement manually, that takes like 20 minutes for a single image. If you're generating hundreds of assets, that becomes a massive operational bottleneck. And that's exactly why codeless tools like the AI Prompt Forge exist to automate that heavy lifting. With a tool like this, you just punch in your basic subject, and it acts as an automated translator, turning your creative idea into that massive, complex paragraph of machine code the AI actually requires.
Section 2. Systematizing the assets. Time to look at the professional infrastructure.
So, generating dense paragraphs of code creates a whole new problem, because unstructured data is the absolute enemy of scale. Keeping thousands of intricate strings of code in some messy Google Doc or Notes app on your phone, that just creates massive friction. You will literally lose your mind trying to track down the exact prompt you need when a client is on the phone. To actually scale, we have to port these prompts into a living, searchable relational database like Airtable. This gives you smart search, advanced filters, and dynamic tagging systems.
When you set it up this way, your database completely transforms. It goes from a static list of notes into a literal hiring directory for specialized AI agents. Think about it. If you land a client who needs cinematic product photography, you don't invent that workflow from scratch. You just filter your database tags, pull the exact expert prompt you need right off the shelf, and boom, it's ready to deploy. And as this customer review perfectly highlights, utilizing this kind of professional infrastructure buys back hours every single day for a solo operator. James Calcutta explicitly says this system saved me so much wasted time. And that's the whole point. By having everything ready to go in a relational database, you completely remove the friction of searching, formatting, and constant endless testing.
Section 3, Engineering Human Strategy. Let's talk high-level business logic.
Since beautiful visuals alone aren't going to magically build massive monthly revenue, we have to look at deploying high-level strategy that actually drives the bottom line. And that brings us to role assignment prompting. You aren't just politely asking the AI to write a marketing plan. No, you explicitly command it to assume the role of a senior SEO strategist overseeing a large team. By defining this highly specific persona, you're training the large language model to pull from specialized, top-tier training data instead of just spitting out generic surface-level marketing advice.
And taking it a step further, you don't just ask for a plan. You force an output constraint. You demand a comprehensive strategy in a specific tabular format, breaking down technical, on-page, and off-page SEO right alongside the required software tools. By forcing the AI into this strict table, you prevent it from rambling in sweeping paragraphs, and you drastically improve the logical structure and depth of what you actually get back.
Okay, so once your strategy is mapped out, you have to generate the content. But here's the catch. AI naturally predicts the most mathematically safe likely next word, and that results in really monotonous, robotic-sounding text. To write deliverables that actually sound human, you have to engineer your prompt for high burstiness. This forces variation in sentence length and structure. It pulls the AI out of its statistically predictable comfort zone and mimics the uneven, natural rhythm of human thought.
Along with burstiness, you also have to explicitly command perplexity. High perplexity introduces less obvious, more surprising vocabulary choices. By injecting instructions for high perplexity, colloquialisms, and even dangling modifiers, which, yes, are technically grammatical errors, you're basically programming the AI to bypass its own robotic uniformity. You're adding a layer of human imperfection, and frankly, that is exactly how you evade automated AI detectors.
Section 4. Think, Create, Evolve. Let's map out the automation blueprint.
This whole operational blueprint actually comes from the Latin motto Andy uses for AI NOVITAS, cogita, crea, evolvere. Think, create, evolve. Think is deploying the AI to map out complex strategies. Create is executing bespoke imagery with that exact syntax and high burstiness text we just talked about, and evolve represents the final layer of scale. By using codeless tools like N8N to connect your Airtable directly to the AI models, you create this incredible connective tissue. It literally allows one solo person to replicate the output of an entire digital marketing department.
Now, we all know this landscape is constantly shifting. As models like Sora, Flux, and Leonardo AI rapidly update, the underlying tech is just going to keep evolving at a breakneck pace. But here's the secret. Your competitive edge remains your deeply understood, organized library of commands. The real advantage belongs to the person who actually possesses the instructions to pilot whichever tool happens to be state-of-the-art today.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. We've just seen how rigid syntax perfectly bridges the gap between human intent and machine execution. But as AI models become increasingly intuitive and capable of interpreting our messy, unformatted thoughts with near-perfect accuracy, will mastering these mathematical cheat codes always remain our ultimate leverage? Or will prompt engineering itself eventually become obsolete? It's absolutely a crucial question to ponder as you build out your own systems.